Hey guys, Chris from Flow Brackets. In this video, I'm going to show you how to mount number plates properly on a BMW G80 and how to get rid of this mounting box. Let's get into it. So first, let's talk about why you might need our product in the first place. And there's a number of reasons. Reason number one is you want to avoid the dealership drilling 4 holes into your car. Once that's done, and you do run say a smaller number plate like that, those 4 holes are exposed and you've got holes that could have been avoided. So our delete kit mounts to the grille, and you do need to make a hole, but it's very, very discreet, which I'll move into a bit later. The other reason why people would choose our product is because this box is ugly no matter what number plate you fit. So for example, you've got a small plate, look at it. There's all this excess plastic surrounding it. Even if you had a slimline plate, it's too tall, it's never the right size. So by removing this and using our product, you get a nice floating look. Let's take this box off and have a look behind it. All you gotta do is just take out the 4 screws that the dealership has put in. So this is what you want to avoid if you have a new car coming. You see the 4 holes on the grille, that comes from the box. How this works is the car gets delivered in Australia with the box in the boot. The dealership will screw this to your car upon registration, leaving the 4 marks. So if you're gonna fit anything that's a small plate, you want to avoid this because they will be seen after installation. So let's go through a couple of real life scenarios. So cars arrived, has the box on, no problem. We'll grab the larger version that goes straight back into the factory hole, and then we can grab his number plate, slimline with a slimline bracket, and it all bolts straight on. Scenario 2, car comes in, box is on, no problem. We'll grab our larger plinth, which goes back into the factory hole, but he's running quite a small plate, so that's going to be too large. So we'll swap this out with our smaller one, which goes in there instead, followed by the bracket and the plate. Scenario 3, car's brand new, the box has not been fitted, so there's no holes whatsoever. You would choose the smaller plinth that goes into here, drilling a very discreet hole, followed by the number plate you're choosing, and it'll fit any number plate in Australia. Okay, pro tip, if you bought a brand new car and you know this hasn't been mounted on the box, tell your dealer straight away that you're gonna fit this. That way, they don't drill this box into your car, and the window you have is probably gonna be only about a week. So make sure you give this to them as soon as you can. Now, let's do the installation. First thing, take this off, 4 screws. Now we're gonna install our larger plinth, which goes back into the factory hole. Grab a screw out of the bag and put it into the same hole. And you will notice that these holes are elongated because the dealership will never drill it exactly at the right height. So there's a little bit of wiggle room for you. Put the screws in and you're pretty much done. We've got the larger one on, but the customer's running a smaller plate. So I'm gonna take this off, replace it with a smaller one, and I'll show you how to do that. Now, installation of the small one is quite easy. This is self-locating parts, so it's going to just drop in like that, and it fits one way. Grab a tiny drill bit. I'm using a 2.5, 3 mils also okay. And pre-drill 2 tiny holes, followed by the screw provided in the kit. Now, the smaller kit does come with plug-up screws, which means these can go back into the holes left behind, so more discreet. Now that we have our delete kit on the car, it's time to choose the correct bracket that matches the number plate style. Now, because this is a 2-part mounting solution, we have 1, a part that suits the car, which is the plinth, and 2, a bracket that suits your number plate style. We can't make a plinth to compensate the car and every plate combination, so there are 2 parts. What bracket suits me? Now, what you're gonna work out is what number plate style you have, get the measurement, and get a matching bracket to suit. So for example, I've got a 6-digit heritage here. I'll grab myself a 6-digit heritage bracket to suit, and that just bolts on, followed by the plate. In this example, the customer has provided some Victorian slimline plates, so we've got a slimline bracket in signature plates. That will bolt on, and then I can just clip a normal plate straight on. Now, fitting the bracket's easy. There's already 2 holes on the plinth, which will line up on the middle of the bracket there. Then this is great because this is actually perfectly centered to the car. If you had the one that goes back into the factory hole, same thing. The lower 2 will line up with the center of the grille and your bracket can go on. If you had the one that goes into the factory hole or the bigger one, you can mount it to the lower two, which is perfectly centered to the grille, unlike our old design, whereas if you mounted to the factory hole, it was going to be too high. So this is a lot better. Before I put this signature plate on, there's actually something quite unique about this particular bracket. This has got multiple parts. The top clip grabs the frame on the top there, and the bottom clips into the frame, making the installation really simple. And not only that, once you tighten the bottom two grub screws, it pulls down on all the clips, locking it in place, which makes it almost impossible to rip it off the car. Pretty smart. Now let's talk about the rear of the car. Now this is more of a information, so it helps new owners. BMW has two mounting holes on the back of the car. It exists on a majority of their cars, and that hasn't changed for a very long time. So if your number plate is wider than those two holes, grab yourself a bracket that suits. Now because these holes fall within the number plate size, this becomes a straight bolt-on followed by your number plate. The only exception is if you have small plates, because they are slightly smaller than the holes, but let me explain. Now let's talk about putting small plates onto BMWs. Now we now know that these holes don't change, they're pretty much standard across all cars, but the problem is this does just cover the hole, so we have a product to suit, but the problem is it doesn't cover the little stamping that's on the back of the car. There's a few ways to go around this, and I'll break it down sort of plate by plate. So let's say you're installing 3 or 4 character New South Wales plates on the back. Easy, grab yourself the correct bracket in that size, bolts up to the car, and the plate can go on. But people always say, well, hey, I can see the stamping on the car. My car might be white, it's very obvious, so no problem. We have made an extended version of the same bracket. Same thing, but it's just a little bit wider. That's why we call it an extended. It's wider than the plate, so it covers a little stamping or the recess in the back of the boot. But the only compromise is that you will see the bracket. So some people will go, well, why don't you make a smaller one so you don't see the bracket, which is our original design. So we've decided to keep both SKUs. That way you can choose which bracket suits you best. Now, the same theory applies to Victorian 3 and 4 character plates. Grab the bracket that suits, bolts up straight to the factory hole, so you can put your plates on, and then you might say, well, I can see the stamping, no problem. Grab the same thing, it's the extended version, we call it a -3, goes in the factory hole, it's wide enough to cover the stamping. The plate can go on, but you might say, look, I can see the excess material. If that's the case, go back to the small one, you get a choice of both options. Now this is a Victorian slimline plate. Now these are the framed plates, and this is what it comes with. There's a little backing plate, so you can mount it on cars, but this does not suit the car. There's no holes for it. What it can do is the bracket is sort of kind of overlapping the hole. So I've seen dealers screw it in sort of sideways. Don't do that. It breaks the clips. If you do get it in and we take it off, I can't put another plate on. So definitely don't do that. Not only that, that's only held in by friction. So all the vibrations, it does fall off. So don't do that. Grab yourself a proper bracket. This is a slimline bracket for signature plates. We've already put in BMW holes, so it lines up straight and perfect the first time. Then you can simply mount your plate on, just like the front. So let's finish off the rear with our S1 signature brackets to suit these plates. All I'm gonna do is put the screw in where the hole is. It'll be straight and level the first time, and just clip the plate on. And that's how you professionally install number plates on a BMW G80. It's going to be the same whether you have a G80, 81 or 82. The only exception is if you have a CS, which is a different part because the grille is a different grille. But other than that, I hope you found this video useful, and thanks for watching.